You're listening to the Magnetic Boss Podcast. I'm your host, Calandra Martin, intuitive brand designer for spiritual entrepreneurs. The Magnetic Boss Podcast is where visionaries come together to openly share wisdom and authentic conversations. I know that you are ready to leave your legacy in the world and become sought out in your industry. I also know that you are sick and tired of getting overlooked. You're ready to have a magnetic business. I'm here to help you create your magnetic brand. It's my mission to help you show up confidently with a professional, irresistible online presence. If you're in this for the long game and all in on the big vision you have for your business, let's dive in.
The way you are leading your life is creating your reality right now. I want this to stop you in your tracks. I want you to sit with this idea for a minute because we can get so caught up in doing and being for everybody that we often forget the way that we are carrying ourselves in the world and the way that we are nurturing ourselves and honoring ourselves. This morning, I had a moment of pause and reflection because my darling 3-year-old, she is my girl. She's my special, special girl. She was in the bathroom with me getting ready this morning. And one thing that we have started doing recently is encouraging her to take care of herself. She is in this feral stage where brushing her hair is really hard. Getting her to change her clothes is really hard. But one thing that I've noticed she loves to do is to get pampered when she's in the bathroom with me getting ready. So I've started this routine of telling her that we can wash her feet in the sink and give her a little foot massage. This is like a super fun way for her to, one, get clean, and two, learn this concept of pampering. And I think that this is such a beautiful crossover in business and in building a brand because it is bringing up that awareness of how you are leading in your life. And one of my really true missions in this world, aside from supporting women in my business, is to be an incredible mother, to set an incredible example for these tiny humans that I'm raising. And having 3 kids is no fucking joke. Let me be so real with you. Yes, creating legacy in the world. Yes, leaving a positive impact in their lives, but also recognizing the growth that is required of me as their mother and the example that I have to set in that motherly role. And if you are a Gen X woman and you have lived through this, I know that you know this better than anybody. There is a season in our lives as women that I find is very much about everybody else, right? There is a season in life, especially as a mom, where your children's needs come before yours. And there are sacrifices. And the leadership and the self-ownership can be true at the same time. So whether you're a mother, you're in your, let's say, 30s, or you are a Gen X and you've lived through this season of taking care of everybody else and wearing all of the hats, and now is really your time to step into your own embodied leadership. I want to say this with so much love and as a reminder, because this is the area where a lot of people avoid being honest with themselves. When you are radically honest with yourself, when you are calling yourself out on your bullshit, on the places that you're holding back, the places that you're overthinking, or you're waiting for permission, or you're waiting for perfection, or you find yourself settling for what is good enough instead of what is actually aligned, what is actually what you desire, and you start asking for what you want and setting your expectations higher for yourself and for everybody else around you, right? When you have these strong boundaries and understanding of not only how you lead and how you operate, but how you receive in the world, this is where things can shift drastically. And I've seen this in my own life and in my own business. And I've done so much of this inner work. I am a huge believer in having support through these seasons, through these evolutions. And something that I've always said and shared with you is that your evolution is inevitable, right? There are so many ambitious women that listen to this podcast that I've connected with in the last decade who get stuck in this place of good enough. They get stuck in this place of, well, this worked really well, but now it just doesn't feel right? It doesn't feel aligned. Something is off. And the story about my daughter taking time to pamper herself is just an example of how we can catch ourselves in the day-to-day going into default mode, right? Like going into the factory settings of our programming and settling for good when we could be asking for great. Just because something feels safe, or just because something is working, or just because it feels like it's enough, those spaces that you're in, they're not stretching you. They're not forcing you to be more, right? Achieve more, receive more. And it's not about hustling your way to success or, reaching these high income claims or comparing yourself to somebody on social media. But it's about knowing that deep down you are meant for more. You were born completely worthy of everything that you desire. And when we're sitting in this neutral space and we find ourselves thinking like, is that all there is? Could I be doing more? How should I be showing up? You're settling, right? Like you're in this space of settling. So I want to invite you today, and this is all just mindset, right? But there is strategy that comes into place with this. I want you today to recognize where you may be settling for neutrality, where you may be allowing yourself to play it safe. And for me in my business recently, it has been taking this idea that I'm just a designer, I'm just a social media manager, I'm just a marketing expert, and really claiming my identity as a coach and a mentor and a leader. Because the thing is that when we lead ourselves in our own lives, that creates a ripple effect. Just like in motherhood, where I am teaching my daughter about how to be a woman in this world and how to pamper herself and honor herself and slow down and meet her own needs. I'm doing the same thing in my business. And as a 1-3 profile line in my human design chart, as a 3 line specifically, I've had a lot of fucking failure along the way. And sometimes I get resentful about that. I'll be completely honest. Sometimes it's really, really hard. But ultimately, I am so grateful for that because it allows me to share with other women what is possible on the other side of failure, and to really showcase the fact that the more failure you have, the more progress you have, because it is feedback, right? I don't remember who this quote was from or where I heard it years and years ago, but failure is feedback. It is something that is not allowing you to get stuck in the strategy. And it's not about overriding self-trust, but it's about having that self-awareness and making the decisive actions. And rather than just being stuck in busy work, like really honoring what you desire, what intentional steps you are taking to get to that place of what you desire, and giving yourself the levels of support along the way. Just like my daughter needed me to help her put her socks on after we did her little foot spa morning, you can have support in that process. You get to give yourself permission to ask for what you need. And on the other side of that, on the other side of taking bold action, being in a place that feels maybe uncomfortable, slowing down just for the sake of slowing down and not giving yourself a reason why you should be able to. Let me know if any of that resonates. I really want you to recognize where you need that support in stepping outside of your comfort zone, in stepping outside of this state of neutrality and settling for what is good, and instead allowing yourself to intentionally call in what is great, to start embodying that, to start being the leader of that in your own life, to take ownership of it, hold yourself accountable. And if you're listening to this, I know you are an ambitious woman, and you're so capable. of everything that you desire, of receiving it and creating it. I hope that resonates with you today. I would love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to send me a message on Instagram. Until next time, sending you so much love.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe wherever you are listening so you never miss a beat. For episode show notes, visit calandramartin.com/podcast. Your iTunes reviews and your sharing of the show helps us reach more magnetic bosses just like you. Until next time.